Hello to you, my gorgeous friends. Welcome back to the Empowered by Ems podcast. Honestly, I'm so excited to be recording an episode because I am in my podcasting era. Okay, in case you didn't know, in case you haven't been able to tell, your girl is in her podcasting era. I'm really enjoying connecting with the guests that I'm speaking to behind the scenes and all of the episodes that are going to be coming your way. So stay tuned, my friends. I actually only had the intention of doing the podcast for a particular season, like for the first 6 months of the year, and then taking a break after June, which I still definitely intend to do. You'll probably only hear one or two episodes drop from us. And that's because I'm going to be going on holiday. Oh my goodness. I'm going to be going on holiday with my husband. It's our first international trip. It's our pre-honeymoon because I keep telling him, babe, a honeymoon is only a real honeymoon if I'm by the beach. If my toes are in the sand, do you know what I mean? So that's still loading. But this is just a trip to go to one of my dear friends' wedding. She's getting married, and it's somebody who I haven't seen since I left Malaysia, which is over now, geez, 10 plus years ago. Okay, let me not. It is. It is. Like it's been a really long time since we've been back and since we've connected in person. So it's going to be really fun to see her. I'm also going to catch up with another one of my friends. So I don't need to tell you their names because it really doesn't matter. But shout out to you, my girls, Jen and Tiff. I can't wait to see you guys. I really, really can't wait. So we are off for 3 weeks and I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm probably only going to drop one guest episode and then one solo episode that I would have already recorded during that time. But I really want to be in the moment and not be worrying about promoting podcast episodes. So that's why I'm just allowing myself to lean into that. Because another huge part of the current season that I'm in right now, so this is just an unintentional life update that's currently happening. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, that is what is currently happening. And if you're tuning in on YouTube, yeah. Thank you so much for being here, my loves. So I'm in the season of really being called to just sort of put the pause on a lot of things that I was doing over the past 3 plus years because I've just been going and going and doing and creating. And I am, I received this call already in February and I think I was in denial. So I continued to do stuff and I hosted a workshop and then eventually when March came around, I was like, you know what? I'm just only going to do the podcast. The podcast is really what feels really alive and good for me to be doing right now. So I'm leaning into this form of self-expression and creation and still sharing. But the course creation, the workshops, the Instagram lives, the free this, the course, there was a lot. Okay, there was a lot. It was a whole production. And my system internally is like, girl, stop. Just put a pause on everything. So I'm loving this pause. It's really giving me a lot of clarity in terms of how I want to come back. Should I come back to that space? Even because I'm keeping it open, but it's definitely like the space is needed, right? Let me just say that the space is needed, and it's really allowing me to listen to myself. It's allowing me to rest. It's allowing me to do other things that spark my creativity and other things that I enjoy doing. Okay, my friends, I'm going to confess something to you because I can't even believe I'm saying this because I told myself I wasn't going to say anything about it, but you guys are my podcast family. If you listen to this podcast, you're my family, especially if you come back episode after episode after episode. So I'm gonna tell you the tea, okay? So yo girl, when I was young, when I was really, really young, one of the things that I used to do was stand in the living room and belt out Beyonce, not Beyonce, Britney Spears and Destiny's Child's entire albums. I would sing at the top of my lungs. I would perform. We had a cordless mic that attached to our stereo at home. So once I put in the CD, then it was like me and the track that I could hear. It was a party, okay? So I would spend hours doing this and I just loved it. I loved performing. I loved putting on a show. I loved dancing. I loved singing. And that was a huge part of my expression as a child. I think it really helped me cope and deal with a lot of my anxiety. I just danced a lot. Whenever we got together as friend groups, I'm sure you guys did this too as friends. You would just like start learning Destiny's Child choreography and start dancing. It was truly such an outlet for me. And since the year started and since the call to slow down has started to come through, the desire to dance again has really started to like burn in my stomach. Like it's like this, it's been this exciting thing that I've been like playing around with in my mind. I'm like, oh my God, like, am I gonna do it? Like, what is it gonna look like? What am I gonna look like? Can I dance? Like my knees. Like sometimes my knees just they don't cooperate and I just feel so long and lanky and so not graceful. So it took me a moment to actually put into YouTube and like look for a choreography to learn and to start to express myself in this way and to move my body and to connect in this way again. And it felt so weird. It still feels so weird. Oh gosh, I'm laughing because my husband is really the only one who has the insider view because he sees me here on random Friday nights with the laptop out and I'm just like learning choreography and looking crazy as heck while doing it. But it's really something that is feeding my soul and I'm loving it. And I want to encourage you listening to do something that really ignites a similar feeling for you, something that is truly solely for your inner child and just for that joy, like no other reason, other than just for you to tap into that joy, because that frequency of joy, that that energy you feel when you are just truly doing something that is truly just making you so happy. I'm just thinking about how happy I feel when I'm dancing, even though I feel so crazy. And I've recorded myself and I'm like, oh my God, I look nothing like I think I look. But I just feel so good. And I'm almost getting teary-eyed because I want each and every one of you listening to be able to have something in your life that really helps you spark that joy like that for yourself, for your inner child, regardless of what it looks like, regardless of whether or not it makes sense to you, even to anybody else looking, but really just dancing like nobody's watching is essentially what I'm doing. And it's just so freeing and it's so beautiful and it's allowing me to tap into another side of myself. It's allowing me to um really tap into I feel like another level of confidence and embracing my femininity, my sexuality. I'm getting in touch with my body. I'm really just being with myself. And I think that at the core of it, that's something that is so important. We all need to cultivate some sort of practices and habits that allow us to truly, truly get closer to ourselves, to our home vessel, to who we are being in that moment or who we are hoping to be in that moment. Like whatever it is that helps you spark that and ignite that. I think it's so important that we dabble in that often and we let ourselves experience that and truly feel it in our bodies. Oh my goodness, this podcast episode is turning out to be an unintentional life update slash embodiment and the empower of embodiment um talk. I'm not going to call it a rant. Um I really wanted to come on here and talk about my cycle. But I'm going to continue with this. I'm going to let this lead because this is coming through like clear as day for me that this might be the message that one of you guys needed to hear in this particular moment. It's important that you cultivate joy in your life. And I don't think that's something we were told. How many of us were told that Honey, when you grow up and you get a job, don't forget to cultivate joy in your life every single chance that you get. Like, that was never part of the rules of engagement. And it's so important that we, being the life vessels that we are, being who we are in our lives, like there's no one more important in your own life than you. There's no one who can take charge and change your life the way that you can. So it's important for you listening to know that you can also cultivate and spark joy in your life. And that can look like whatever the heck you want it to look like, as long as it feels good. Like, I was on the verge of tears thinking about how good I feel when I'm dancing because, like, honestly, inner child, pure joy and expression and creative freedom and like never mindedness, no, not caring about a single thing in the world. Ah, like, I want to experience that all the time. I want to experience that frequently. Let me not say all the time, but frequently. I want to be able to cultivate that feeling within myself and be able to tap into that even when I'm not dancing. And that's really what practices like meditation and breath work and yoga and dancing and whatever it is that allows you to really tap into a different space, a different headspace that allows you to relax and to really see yourself in the moment, to be with your body, to be in the moment, to be with your breath. All of those things that really allow you to almost transcend, but also stay connected. Exercise is also a part of this. Journaling, whatever the thing is for you, these practices, these habits, over time, they really are the things that ground us and that allow us to really be able to overcome any challenges that come our way, that enable us to look at a negative thought pattern and not get caught in the loop, but actually be able to be like, yeah, no, I'm putting that thought down and I'm going to choose something different. I'm going to choose to think and say something different, even if it feels delusional, even if it feels like I'm lying to myself. I'm going to choose that. And this, my friends, is the power of your habits. I finally think I understand. Um, because looking back at everything, the more and more I like look for things, like because when I started this journey, I was like, okay, what tool can I use? What journey can I take? What experience, what transformation, what can I do to take me to my next level? But the more and more I looked for things and the more and more I experienced things, the more and more I realized that it's actually so important that you just cultivate a consistent routine with one or two things. Like one, start with one. The human brain, one. Start with one, my friend. I'm telling you. Start with one, build momentum, gain success with that one habit. And then you can add something else to that list. Start with one. Start with one thing that can pour into your cup, one habit, one thought pattern, one change in how you move through the world, and then stick to that. And then over time, allow yourself to add more to that. This is just my personal development 101 pie because I have done a lot in the past few years. And granted, I had the capacity to do so. I had the energy to do so. I had the willingness, I had the determination, the motivation. I was in it. And now that I'm not out of it, but now that I'm just in it in a different way, I'm really finding my groove and understanding that this is a lifelong journey. There's no need for me to jump into all of the things and want to ride all of the waves, that I can ease myself into it, and that taking it bite size by bite size, trigger by trigger is just more than enough. I don't need to be trying to unravel the gist of everything in 1 month, 1 week. I need to allow myself to just be a human and to enjoy this life, because I have really, really gotten my mental state to a point of where I feel most times, most times that I can really have full awareness. Let me not say full, because what's full? I have really, really great and profound awareness of my thoughts, of my actions, of my being in a specific moment in relation to other people and other people's energies, other people's emotions, their shift in energies. That is something that I am I'm really, really good at. And that's something that translates in the way that I move through the world. And that's something that I've had to cultivate over these past few years. And so, if I can get here, then my friends, imagine what you can create for yourselves. Imagine what you guys could create for yourselves just by committing to yourself, committing to the journey, committing to the work, committing to the discomfort, and showing up for it. This was such an unintentional episode, but I really hope that it resonated with somebody, because when things like this come through, I believe it's for a reason. I believe that somebody out there who's either going to listen to this episode now or 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I don't care, needed to hear this. And that is how big, and that is how I look at my place, my value, my impact, my purpose in this world. So I want to thank you so much for spending time with me and really receiving this transmission and holding the space with me, for you. I hope that this episode touched your soul, your spirit. And if it did, do share it with a friend, share it with someone you love, spread the word, spread the message, and let them know that everything that they seek is within. We got to start with spending more time with ourselves and cultivating our joy and going back to the things that really, truly make us well up with joy and happiness, because that's how we were supposed to live. That is the human experience. That's how it's supposed to be. The messaging out there is flawed. I want to be part of the voices that changes that narrative. So thank you for tuning in, my loves. I will catch you in the next episode, where I will be sharing about my journey with going off the pill and my journey towards attempting to live cyclically, in accordance to my menstrual cycle, in accordance that means training according to my menstrual cycle, eating according to my menstrual cycle. And boy, has this been a journey for me. It hasn't been easy. There's been so much resistance, but I'm finally starting to find a flow with it. It's finally starting to feel good, and feel like it's paying off, the decisions and the choices that I'm making with this. And I'm really excited to share this with you guys. So you can stay tuned for the next solo episode. That's what I'll be diving into. Thank you so much, my love. I will catch you in the next one. Bye.